Hey everyone, welcome back to an episode of Blunt Talk. In the last video that I was featured in, we covered RSO and spoke a little on full spectrum. Today we're going to talk about tinctures, broad spectrum, and cover a little bit on nano emulsification. Tinctures have been around for centuries and have been used medicinally by just about every culture on the planet. Their simple nature and efficacy is one of the main reasons they're still respected and used daily by a wide variety of people. They are discreet, very easy to dose, and incredibly versatile. They help reduce anxiety, are used to treat pain, insomnia, stimulate appetite. The list is endless. They are a carrier for basically any and all potential benefits that the plant has to offer. Let's discuss real quick what makes them so beneficial and why they are usually considered one of the best forms of cannabis edibles, falling short only to RSO, with preference or application being the main factor. So when it comes to tinctures, they really are very simple. You have the THC or other cannabinoids, and then you have some kind of carrier. And by carrier, I just mean whatever liquid is carrying the cannabinoids into your system. In dispensaries, it will almost always be some kind of oil. This is due to the lighter color, better flavor, and more control when adjusting to specific needs, but they can be made with alcohol as well. This is actually a common practice in home grows and is referred to as green dragon. It's much more intense in flavor due to the higher chlorophyll content, and most people report it being more potent in effects as well because it's a true full spectrum. But in terms of specific needs, oils are usually preferred. This is because they can make a broad spectrum by using distillates and a carrier oil to build their own kind of effects and flavors that may be higher in certain cannabinoids like CBC, CBG, and CBN, quantities that you may not find in a full spectrum extract. Most companies do tend to get it as close as full spectrum as possible though, because that usually gives the best overall effects, but some are taking it a step further and creating their own spectrum. This helps them achieve specific things like energy, sleep, or even great CBD ratios for patients that aren't looking for psychoactive effects. Now, if you're wondering why they're usually made with some kind of oil or alcohol, it's because cannabinoids are actually lipophilic and hydrophobic, meaning they are nonpolar and can only be dissolved into lipids or other nonpolar substances like alcohol. Water is actually a polar molecule, so without any help, cannabinoids cannot be dissolved into it. At the end, I do have a little experiment that shows the only exception to this rule. So, other than being simple in terms of ingredients, tinctures are also incredibly easy to use, as most will come with a little dropper that has lines showing you what kind of dosage of cannabinoids you're getting. Once you know your dose, they could be added to your favorite drinks, foods, or you can even add them to your favorite lotions to make topicals. They are the definition of versatile. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, I must tell you that they do come with a caveat that a lot of people may misunderstand. So, although you can mix a tincture into your favorite drinks or foods, in order for them to reach max potential, buccal or sublingual applications are actually needed. Now, that's not to say that mixing them into your favorite food or drinks won't work, because it definitely will. It just won't work as fast or be as effective as the intended method. This is due to a phenomenon called the first pass effect. To keep it simple, when an edible is ingested the normal way, it goes to your gut, and then your liver, and then finally your bloodstream. Basically at each stop changing chemically, losing some potency, and delaying onset effects. When administered buccally or sublingually, however, they are absorbed into your oral mucosa, which is the soft tissue in your cheek, and then they're sent straight to the bloodstream. This means not only will the effects get to you much faster, but scientifically speaking, they'll be more bioavailable, which means you receive more of the intended effects. This method of delivery is the reason tinctures have been so effective and highly regarded in the cannabis realm. So long as the tinctures are taken the recommended way, the only real competitor they have is RSO. And technically, if the RSO wasn't taken sublingually and the tincture was, there is a higher chance that the tincture will be more effective and render stronger results. And even though those RSOs are full spectrum and the tinctures are usually broad spectrum, bypassing that first pass effect really does give the tincture the possibility of being stronger. So application really is key here. The example that I show next kind of nullifies everything I just said, but that won't always be the case. And if you don't have access to the products that we cover in this experiment, then everything I said stands for oil and alcohol-based tinctures, and buccal and sublingual is the way to go. Now on to the fun part, nano-emulsification. Nano-emulsion, to keep it simple, is basically taking your cannabis oil, some water, and a surfactant, and combining it through ultrasonication, which is a high-frequency sound waves breaking cannabis oils into tiny little particles. These tiny particles are able to mix into water, which we discussed isn't possible in nature, so some really cool science here at play. And it comes with some really awesome benefits. Not only do those smaller particles make the products more stable because the cannabis is more uniformly dispersed within the product, but because they are smaller, they are absorbed into our system much faster. Remember when we talked about the first pass effect? Well, being that these nano products are water soluble, like buccal and sublingual applications, they're able to completely bypass that first pass effect and are absorbed into the mucosa and then sent straight to the bloodstream. Most people actually report the nano effects having a quick onset of 15 to 30 minutes versus your traditional edibles taking anywhere from 30 minutes to 2 hours to metabolize, depending on how long it takes your liver to metabolize that. Of course, the only downfall to this is that with nano products being absorbed faster, the effects don't last as long as the traditional ones, but again, nano products are more bioavailable, so while the effects are in your system, they are technically much stronger for the shorter period of time that they're in there, so the payoff is worth it in my eyes. Now I want to show you guys a little example of how cool all this is. Here we have a nano emulsified tincture from Green Revolution, which in my opinion is the best tincture on the market. And then we have a generic run-of-the-mill THC tincture that is not nano emulsified and it's made with MCT oil. But I just want you guys to see how these two oils or these two tinctures mix into a beverage, and water specifically. So on our left side for you guys, we're gonna have our run-of-the-mill THC tincture. It's still a fantastic tincture, but it's not nano emulsified and it's made with MCT oil. So I want you guys to see how that mixes in with water really quick. I'm sure we've all seen this trick, but it's a little bit more fun when it has to do with cannabis. So if I was to try to dose myself into anything, and it says we're always talking about water soluble, but that's literally anything, any other drink that you're gonna think of. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna spin it. So as you can see, there's nothing that I can do that's going to change how this tincture looks. I can spin it one way, try and change it another way, spin it as fast as I can. But as you see in a second, there's literally nothing that I can do. It just sits there right on the top. All the particles collecting right on top, waiting for you to gulp down. Now I'm gonna show you guys, like I said, one of my favorite tinctures from Green Revolution. It's these guys right here. They have a fantastic, this is their Journey one, which has some CBG in it. Put that right back. So let's go ahead and take a couple of drops. And then, voila. So as you can see right off the bat, I literally don't need to even, I don't need to mix this guy in. It looks perfect right now, and I could just drink this and it wouldn't have any like differential in taste. But just for science, let's go ahead and mix it around. And as you can see, that was so simple. Now we can go ahead and one more for science. So the first thing that comes to mind when looking at these tinctures is that if you were to drink this whole guy right here, your whole dose is going to be the same all throughout this mixture, whereas this guy right here, your dose is going to be sitting in that top right there, waiting for you, like I said, in one gulp, which is not desirable because that's going to be sitting all over your mouth and all over the cup, which I'll show you in a second. So another good thing about these tinctures, if I drink this guy down, there is nothing in that cup. Now if I go ahead and drink this guy down, look at that. Look at all those residuals on that cup. That could be anywhere from like 25 to 50 milligrams of THC on that cup that I'm not getting. So yeah, that's nano versus regular tinctures. Wasn't that cool? We're living in the future, people. One thing I haven't even mentioned yet is that nano emulsification isn't just for ingestibles. They do actually make nano topicals as well, and it helps improve the permeability of the products, giving you stronger effects with a shorter wait time. Basically working the same way that nano edibles work, just with your skin. If you haven't looked into nano emulsified products yet, and they can be found in your area, please, please, please give them a try. You never know how close you are to finding the relief you're seeking. And on the other hand, if you do not have access to nano products, but you can get yourself a regular tincture, fear not. Trust in those buccal and sublingual applications, and you can receive basically the same effects as those nano emulsified products in the same amount of time. And of course, if you just can't stomach the oil in your mouth, that's totally understandable, and by all means, consume the tincture in your favorite drinks or in any way you see fit. Just remember, it won't be the same. Also, we suggest that you use warm liquids or food if you are just going to drink or eat those down, just to try and melt those bubbles as much as possible. Well, that's all the time we have for today. I hope y'all had as much fun as I did. As always, please check the description for links on more literature pertaining to tinctures. Also, check out our website for tons of cool swag and more info on our store. And if you like this video and you learned something new, please leave a like and subscribe. We look forward to making more videos on all things cannabis and hope to hear from you on topics that you may actually have questions on. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, I'm Jacob. Much love.